Yo, yo, what's up? What's up? This is Christian Anarchist. That's Christian Anarchist number 46. Sorry about that. I had to cough a little. Anyways, so yeah. Oh, hold on a second. I'm hearing a feedback. Got the live stream going in my background to help me take a look at the questions that we got. Anyway, so, all right. Finally, everything is organized. We should be ready to go. At least I think anyways. Let me just do some twit tests. There we go. I'll get to that later. But anyways, yes, welcome to Ask Christian Anarchist. I think I've said that 3 times now. So let me explain how this will go, because we don't have anyone in here at the moment. If y'all would like the link in, feel free to let me know. I'm going to be trying to add other people inside. In the meantime, let me actually do one more thing here. Leave it for the people in the outer chat of the actual Hangout. All right, so that being said, so yeah, if you want to come in and ask questions, feel free to let me know. But let me also, I'm going to actually post a sign and keep pulling it up at times, because I feel like not doing it often, like saying this stuff often, so I'd rather at least put a sign for it. So right here is how you get to ask your questions. So number 1, obviously you have the option to message me on Google Hangouts, and I'll be able to get you the link there. If you want to come in, or maybe you just want to ask your question there, and then we'll see how that goes. But if you're watching on YouTube, you also have the live chat. You can ask your question in the live chat. Then we have, of course, the Twitter option, where you can tweet your question along with AskCA as the hashtag. This will be a means of asking your questions on Twitter, and then I'll be able to try to answer those. Then, of course, there's asking the question on the Discord server. If you have a Discord account and you want to ask questions on there, you just go to the description of this deal here, click on the thing which says Discord for Ask CA questions off air, and boom, you have that function and ability to not just engage in question asking, but even allowing time for when we do the off-air after party. We'll usually go over to Discord and continue the conversation, or just relax over there. All right, that being said, again, I will, like I said, because I made this, and this will help me explain all this stuff for those who are just catching up during the middle of the show, I'll bring this up so that way you can be reminded. And oh my, already we have 10 people catching up. Very interesting method that we're seeing here. A lot of people coming. Okay, that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop right on to it. Since we don't have anybody in here, we're just going to give what we can. But again, if you guys want to join the thing, because some people prefer that to actually get engaged face-to-face on this kind of thing, just message me on Hangouts, and I'll try to do my best to get you the link. Okay, Pin says he'll take the link. Okay, I'll get you the link in a few, but let me first ask these, because I promised these people I'd answer their questions real quick. So that being said, Thomas from Discord asks, what convinced you of Calvinism over other predestination views? When it comes to the Calvinism view over the Arminian, the Molinist, and the open theist positions, I found personally that the idea of the Calvinistic position was a bit more consistent in not just the biblical worldview, but in reality as well. Because especially when it comes to the idea of the free will, I believe we have choice, and that's kind of how I always viewed free will. But then the question then dives deeper into whether or not, if we are free in totality, are we free from influence in our decision making? Is it independent of things involved in the biology of our being, and what surrounds us that causes an influence in our decision making? Or, does that happen, or is it an independent thing outside of it? So I think there's influences, and as someone who's religious, I believe that the ultimate cause, or not cause, but like the influence of these would definitely be God leading to these decisions. So that's kind of where I sort of then drew from that, and philosophically, trying to examine the issue about the free will aspect. And I see we have Ozpin is squawking. So I don't know. You want a cracker? I don't know what to do for you, buddy. Bird, squawker, guy, or girl. Not judging in this day and age. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah. So yeah, that's why I would take it, as well as the predestination and all that stuff. I mean, I just think out of the language where predestination is used, Calvinist soteriology seems to be more in conformity with the terms that I'm seeing. So yeah, thank you for your question there, Thomas. Next one we got for one way, and as he's doing that, I'm adding Pin into the Hangout. So just added him. There we go. Okay, one way asks, what is your favorite argument for the existence of God? There's actually two that's pretty hard to do. I think first of all, my first favorite one would have to be the Leibnizian cosmological argument, because compared to the Kalam cosmological argument, that one just has something where, though it is misunderstood at times, I think it's just too simplistic that it can lead into some issues of, well, it's not going to convince a lot of people or go into the details and the questions. So I think the Leibnizian one, though I'm not an expert of that argument, or a guy that prefers cosmological arguments in general, I don't think that would be, the Kalam would be a good one. But I think, Leibnizian might be a bit better of approach. But then when it comes to the other one, it would be the evolutionary argument against naturalism, which, though it doesn't deal directly with the issue about proving God's existence, I think that what it solves is that using evolution, especially as an theistic evolutionist like myself, basically points out that evolution itself, if there is no supernatural God that's behind this process, that if we're going to go by the natural perspective, that it's natural evolution as what's produced us, that then leads into some inconsistencies, as well as a defeating circle about what our beliefs are, including the belief that we are the product of naturalist evolutionary process without any sort of designs and such. So basically, that our beliefs, including the belief of being formed from an evolutionary naturalistic perspective, is part of it. So it gets to a very confusing, self-defeating circle at that point. So those are just the two arguments that I prefer when trying to demonstrate for the existence of God in that perspective. So that being said, thank you for your question. One way. See, we got a Pin in here. Y'all remember him from last time. He just changed his picture to assume that's what is that, Vegas or something?
Yeah, it's the Stratosphere in Vegas.
Because I had seen that portion. I just normally am familiar with the hotels and the MGM casino due to what was that one show that Drew Carey tried to start a while back on the gaming network. But yeah, that is basically all I have of the deal there.
Oh yeah, there's no Vegas skyline without the Stratosphere.
Yeah, I'm about to check a look more into that. I hear it might be a good.
I had to
sites pictures
tribute to my city, so.
Oh yeah, sorry to hear about what happened over there, man.
It's not just us, man. Most of the victims were Californians.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So, on a more lighter note, how are you doing?
I'm wondering what I'm doing here.
Well, you asked for the link, so
Yeah.
there's got to be something within your subconscious mind.
Yeah, I've been sitting on a question for like 2 months because I haven't been in here in 2 months, and then I never came in to ask it.
Mm.
Are you aware of any secular or non-Jewish or non-Christian sources within the first century for the existence of Jesus?
So you're saying any secular, non-Christian, non-Jewish sources?
Within the first century.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. That's basically it.
No. All right.
I could bring shit, I might as well just bring up the follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
If the only sources about Jesus's existence within the first century are Christian or Jewish sources, would that not be a problem for the existence of Jesus, considering that secular and non-Jewish and non-Christian people and countries, nations were involved and had witnessed his life, death, resurrection, crucifixion, etc., etc.?
So would it be a problem if the only witness accounts we have are from these specific people that had these specific views or beliefs?
Who already believed in it, or who already ascribed at least to that religion?
Well, I mean, I think some of the people, for like Josephus, he wasn't a person that affirmed that particular.
It's not in the first century.
All right. Well, there's debate about the particular dating, but yeah. So just for the sake of that, then yeah, I agree. And going to the second century on that. I mean, even then, I don't think there'd be a problem either way. Rather it be if the documents that we have come from early second century, or the witness accounts we have from the first century are from Christian perspectives. I mean, I think if we're going to dismiss it like that, then there's other things that we're going to have to sort of look at and have our changed perspective historically, such as, say, the Gallic Wars, for example.
Well, the reason why it's a problem for me is people who were not Christian and who were not Jewish supposedly experienced Jesus in one way or another by healing them, dying in front of them, being crucified in front of them, coming back from the dead in front of him. And nobody said anything. The Romans wrote a lot down. This is supposedly a major event, and they didn't write it down. I mean, the only non-Jewish or non-Christians who witnessed it are mentioned in the Bible, but they didn't write anything themselves. That's a problem. The only quote unquote messiahs that non-Christian or non-Jewish sources mention in the first century is not any one Jesus, but are what probably a bunch of different Jesuses, a bunch of people who claim to be the Messiah. Some of them probably crazy. Some of them maybe actually did believe that. Probably a bunch of faith healers or somebody trying to lead a religion.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't deny that. People, like, for example, there are at least 2 or 3 different Jesuses that Josephus mentions in his writings. One of them is the brother of James, and that portrays it in a different state or a different area, where apparently he was actually like a rabbi or some kind of actual like leader amongst a certain group of people, and that had things going on there. So yeah, I don't deny that there's definitely been different figures or people that have been named Jesus, but I still think that there's still the historical accuracy for the one that we at least have mentioned within the New Testament.
The problem is with these so-called fake Jesuses or these faith healers or because there might have been 2 or 3, maybe 4 people named Jesus, but there were a couple dozen different people claiming to be a Messiah or doing faith healing and stuff like that. And we have more evidence for them in the first century than we do for Jesus from non-secular sources. Doesn't that mean that the Jesus's existence hypothesis, runs into major trouble that way?
I don't see how it would.
How can
I mean, not every historical fact that's been documented has usually come from atheistic people or secular people, should I say. Some of them were pagans, and some of them.
When I said not Jewish, not Christian, I'm referring to pagans and other religions.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And like I said, my problem is the people who already believed in either Judaism or Christianity were the only ones who wrote about him, and everyone else who supposedly witnessed him didn't write anything.
Right.
That should be a problem.
Well, for example, let's say, trying to remember what the one woman's name was. She got under fire for the Paula Deen, for example. I'm pretty sure she was alive during 9/11. Okay. Did Paula Deen write about 9/11?
Well, we're not talking about any one individual here, Christian. We're talking about a group of people. Now, when something like 9/11 happens, 50 years from now, people are going to be able to look back and read books, blogs, videos, all kinds of stuff from multiple religions, those without religion, different parties within the government, different news sources. All of these would corroborate, not from just one group of people. Now, if 50 years from now, if the only source for 9/11 was, a couple of Republican books, and that's the only source for 9/11, then it would have to immediately be discounted, because that's one group who already believed that the event happened, and nobody else seemed to agree that it ever happened. Now, when you look at something a little more closely related to Jesus, something like the global flood, though we know it's not a global flood, every culture around the region wrote about this flood, right? So we know that a flood happened, and geologically we can prove that the flood happened. Now, if just the Noah story existed, and there was no geological evidence that this local flood happened, if just the Noah story existed, then we would have to discount it. Right? It's like you could say that there have been people throughout history saying things like, "Oh, King Arthur could exist." Okay, and there is reason to believe that an actual king, people could have a reason to believe that an actual King Arthur exists without all the mythology and the legend that goes around in the story. But the only source we have for King Arthur is the books that this one guy wrote. That's not good enough. You see where I'm going?
So, even then, I still don't see, regarding the topic we're on now, we have, of course, the 3 different Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and John, that are simply given their specific accountings, though Mark is receiving the oral tradition of Peter. So basically what he's getting about what happened is coming from Peter, since he's a scribe, as well as just someone who during his time has heard from Peter what has happened, as well as you have Luke's gospel, who in his introductory, he's writing to a specific somebody about an account, and he had to explain that he had to gather up from various eyewitnesses, as it says in verse 2, even as they delivered them unto us, which from the beginning were eyewitnesses and ministers of the word. So he, and elsewhere in different parts of it, seems to be getting this from other people. And the fact that they mentioned, for example, in one instance, I think it was, forgot what the exact names was, but they would say blank, the son of blank, as if, so whoever's reading it knows who that is at that particular time, so that they would be able to fact check and verify whether or not if it was true. So if you're going to say, like, make up the existence of somebody or make up a particular event, that would be the last thing you want to do, to leave a little breadcrumb to verify if a little Jim down the street could be able to check and verify if these kinds of things were true. I think even the guy that was trying to carry Jesus' cross had that same kind of implication, like mentioned that he was the son of somebody, leaving some kind of like writing to a audience where people who are at least familiar with it originally are going to be familiar and understanding who they're talking about. So, I mean, that kind of thing, I think itself, as well as Paul, who even met the brother of Jesus, who James himself didn't really, at least how the New Testament portrays him as, wasn't really believing that of Jesus's messiahship and stuff. James is pretty much behaving and trying to act like, you know, the typical Jewish leaders during the time, a Jewish rabbi. So, I mean, I don't think that just because it's from a Christian source for the first century, I don't think that that's a means to dismiss it, just like we can't dismiss works like the Gallic Wars, even though, according to scholar Michael Grant, that it's among the most potent works of propaganda ever written, yet it is extremely hard to fault him on the facts. So when it comes to just simply that there's a bias or there's some kind of propaganda, there's still historical things that are written down that we can still draw from. You don't have, for example, like Bart Ehrman and such, he's an atheist and he's not looking at it trying to draw resurrection or you know, the deity of Christ. In fact, he's argued against that kind of stuff, that he thinks that, no, Jesus wasn't originally portrayed as such, that like the Gospel of Mark actually just portrays him as a regular human being with no divinity or no you know, source of miracles. Like it's supposed to be like a genuine biography of Jesus. He says it's Mark's closest attempt to it, but he still says that there's no doubt that there's a historical Jesus, and even says the most historical fact that is not disputed is that, or among serious scholars, he says, is that Jesus existed and that he was crucified under Pontius Pilate. So, I mean, this is a guy that is coming with a different conclusion or a different starting presupposition, him being agnostic, compared to looking at these Christian sources, and yet he's drawn from these conclusions that still a Jesus and such existed. So I think the issue is not simply because that there was they were written by Christians, but rather not if these things can be verified. And I think if they are, the other thing too is the conspiracy theory proposes of, you know, they're just coming together to making up this figure. If that's the case, like I mentioned with the naming of specific people that would have been around during the time they were passing out the Gospels in written down form, that would be the last thing you want to do if that person was still alive, because that could blow your cover if you're trying to make up something like that.
Well, a couple things on that. Now, whether or not Peter, Mark, Luke, or any of these guys actually wrote their Gospels, that's in contention with some people, but I'm not going to get into that. Let's assume for a minute that they did actually write their Gospels. I'll dissent to that for now. Let's assume that they did. They didn't write their stories when Jesus was alive, and as far as we know, they didn't write their stories until a few decades after his death, meaning that more than likely anybody that would have been able to corroborate Jesus's existence, meaning like the son of, or people who was around him with the son of this guy, probably wouldn't have happened, because record keeping around that time, as far as people go, wasn't the best. Yeah, I mean, Rome had their census. They started doing their census around then. But as far as I know, they weren't keeping tabs on specific people, and certainly people like Judas and Jesus never appeared in those censuses. So the whole idea of using a family name or the son of doesn't help anybody if nobody can corroborate that, because those people would be dead by the time it's written. Shit, I forgot the other point you made. The one you ended on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that was it.
Yeah, I think that was it. Oh, something about making up something while those people were alive. Yeah,
Yeah,
which is evidently true, because those people weren't alive when these things were written.
Oh, so I mean, it doesn't give us the age of how old these specific important figures are. Like for example, you have like it's just people that are like not Jesus, Peter, Mark, all these are just like little background characters, like the kind of people that you see in the genealogies that don't even get mentioned or talked about in a story or something. Like it's just they only have their name mentioned by genealogy, and that's all that they get recognized for as in regards to the biblical text.
Mm-hmm.
They just get like a brief mention, but for these people, there's just a brief mention of what they did, like someone carrying the cross for somebody, and all that kind of stuff.
So,
I mean, it doesn't really tell us anything other than that was the name of these people. It doesn't tell us how old they were, and I mean, they could have been alive during the time of which they were written down. We just don't know about that particular thing, or could, there's all kinds of things, but I don't think we can easily just simply say they wouldn't have been alive without giving a very good reason why.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of people you could say that for. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can still make up people in history. And I'm not saying necessarily that people were made up. I mean, these were more than likely probably oral traditions that were passed down before they were written.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have actually thought these people were real. Doesn't mean that they were.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Back in 2010, I think it was, a number of people were polled, which is real, Winston Churchill or Sherlock Holmes, and the majority of those people, don't ask me for the exact number because I don't remember, thought that Sherlock Holmes was the real guy, but he's not.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it could very well be the same trap. People just didn't know better. Right.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it immediately discounts Jesus's existence. All I'm saying is that it's not enough to say that he does exist. And in your chat, I think it was, who was it? Oh, Ozpin Kane. And I'm not following the chat. This is just something that stuck out to me. Said that doesn't even address the point. They are dying over lies and refusing to tell the truth, which is a terrible argument. I'm so tired of getting that argument. Because the Nazis were doing the same thing, weren't they? They believed in something that wasn't true, and they were dying for it because they
but I don't use that argument though.
I know. I'm just letting him know that's a shitty argument. Don't use it, because there are 1,000 arguments against it. It's not a good one.
All right. Well, we got to get to some of the other people in the live chat. If you stick around, I'll probably get back to you on some other stuff.
If I can come up with anything, but I'll stick around for now.
All right. Before we continue, just want to give a shout out to, make sure I just don't butcher the name, Alexia the Rook, otherwise just known as Alexi from Twitter. I remember, so some of those that remember last time I tried starting this off, I showed a little thing I did for fun and some laughs, is the My Little Pony character maker thing, because start
one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the link for that if you need to. So she was doing something where was doing some drawing, and boom! I got this this little drawing from her. Very awesome. Uh, I think I look more. I think I look more dorky than here. No, no, I look less dorky on here actually as a horse or pony. Sorry, gotta get my learn my privilege about what exactly I am in this picture. I look less dorky on here as a pony than I do in real life. I mean, let's just be real. Hopefully, I can sound less dorky. I don't know, hire what's a good voice actor to voice me if this was ever to become a canon thing.
That particular pony right there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be Sam Riegel. It's got to be.
I don't know who that is, but fine, let's do it.
You don't know Sam Riegel?
Not the top of my head, man. I'm trying to.
I
got like 5 things
in Black Butler and a couple of other animes.
Could you be a little more specific when it comes to that?
I don't watch Black Butler. I don't know the guy's name.
Then how do you? I'm not even gonna ask.
I'm a fan of Sam Riegel. He does a lot of video game stuff.
Okay, but video games. I don't see Black Butler on here.
No, is it not Black Butler? Maybe it was something else.
Yeah.
I thought it was Black Butler. Maybe I'm thinking of Taliesin Jaffe. Hold on. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. But either way, it's still awesome. Let me see.
I guess Taliesin Jaffe could do it too.
Nah, I'm gonna take Alexia's side.
I'm thinking of Blue Exorcist.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. You got the colors mixed up. I'm gonna take Alexia's side though. I would prefer J. Michael Tatum, the guy that voices Sebastian, to do the voice. I think that would be that much not just fun, but if I were to have that voice, I'd be getting all the ladies. I mean, I get them now, but I mean, hey.
Well, what kind of voice would you imagine this character having if it was an actual character, not just a voice actor that you like?
I don't know. I guess like, just because it's being something related to me, let me actually just take this thing off for the moment, because be like 2 voices coming out of the pony. Yeah, that'd be an interesting one, like a very what's the word? Schizophrenic kind of pony, I guess. Different voices and personalities coming out. It's like
I just read this tome right here, and this shut up that she's listening to me right now. Who are you talking to? Shh. They don't like you, Twilight. Don't listen.
Exactly what I was going to point out. But yeah, I don't know. Just like I guess just my voice, just because I kind of try to relate to the character that I use the creator thing for. And who knows? But yeah. By the way, Alexia, good job. Oh, what's this? If you did an MLPV, oh, good lord!
Wow,
oh,
that was disgusting.
Yeah, that was. Sorry about that, folks. Had some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with some mac and Cheetos. Not a good combination. I haven't even had soda today. Anyways, so if you did a MLPVA, I'd say Vincent Tong. He does Feather Bangs and Flash Sentry.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen the show as much. I've only seen like 2 episodes. So
liar, you're gonna go see the movie, aren't you?
No, I'm not gonna go see the movie
tomorrow or Sunday night, aren't you?
That's the one thing. Everyone's like, don't spoil it. I'm like, oh, for y'all, if y'all send the haters that want to spoil it to me. Let me absorb the spoils. I don't care.
I will take off all of the pages that I'm on Google Plus and Facebook, and no spoilers for me. I don't want spoilers. I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna go have fun seeing it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wear my pony shirt. I'm gonna take my Twilight doll.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're a fan of the show. You just won't admit it.
Oh yeah, Alexa's saying she's gonna see the movie tomorrow.
Lucky.
I tried to see if I could get into it. I just couldn't, because there were several things. One would be the intro. Just the My Little Pony. I still get the cringe of that.
Yeah, I got tired of the intro after a while too. Watch it on Netflix. You can skip the intro.
Oh, I don't know, man.
You gotta watch it at least up until the T-Rex fight. That's My Little Pony going full Dragon Ball Z.
I'll try. I'll do something for your sake, just for you.
That's like season 3. So
There you go. There you go. All right. So let's see here. All right. So going back to the questions, I don't know if Kylo is still in the chat. Kylo or Kenny Rhodes. What method of apologetics do you subscribe to? This one's rare and shocks a lot of people, especially the presuppositionalists, is combinationalist, meaning I use a variety mixture of all the different methods, which is the classical approach, the evidentialist approach, and the presuppositionalist approach. I use these 3 different methods in my debating format, depending on what the thesis happens to be. So in one case, if I say I have to prove the existence of Jesus, or another thing involving like historical wise about something, then evidentialism obviously going to go for it. I have rarely had to discuss an issue about the existence of God, because personally I'm not really interested in that particular debate format. But if I were to get involved with that, even in a brief conversation, classical is the approach. And then for presuppositionalism, that definitely comes in handy during like the cross-examination period, because while holding to the presupposition of my worldview, you have to test the consistency of whether the other's worldview is in check. And I think that comes in handy when you're using things like cross-examination rounds in your debates. So that's what I am. I'm a combinationalist, and that's the approach that I use in my debating tactic. Okay, so let's see here. Based Guyver asks, how do you explain that the ceremonial punishments of the Old Testament no longer apply in the New Covenant, while at the same time remaining consistent with moral realism, that morals do not change? Good question, actually. So the issue is that, and I'm not going to use the whole ceremonial laws kinds of things, because this was actually something that was invented by Thomas Aquinas in his days. But back then, before that, we really don't see anywhere in the Jewish literature, Christian literature, before then, that seems to make these distinctions of ceremonial laws and then moral laws. They were just kind of viewed into one law. But we still can see that there's certain things that are still bounded only within the Old Testament. Slight things carry over to the moral law of the New Testament. And that is that there's different covenants, and that while the Old Covenant has some stuff that the New Testament has, mostly what we get is because of the New Covenant in Christ. So, you know, we see these things, but Jesus calls them his commandments or his laws, compared to when he would refer to the Lord's or the 10 Commandments, and such. He would make the proper distinctions. So I can say that these things no longer apply because of covenantal theology, but it's not the idea of morals changing. The main moral behind being in the covenant is that when you're in a covenant, you have these rules and obligations to follow, and there's still the lawgiver for that specific group of people. Just like we're under a covenant with laws, under a law keeper and a covenant father of these laws and these covenant. So that would be what I would have to say in regards to that, in the fact that morals do not change, and it has nothing to do with the morals itself, but rather that the covenants themselves change, but that the principles behind the morals that are being laid out are still distributed by the same lawgiver that has the morals to point out, and these are applicable for a specific time and for a specific purpose and such. So that being said, I'm trying to make sure to get to, because I saw that we don't have as much questions on the live chat at the moment, which, by the way, y'all watching, get some questions going on, because we don't have anything more left in the Discord, and I highly doubt that anyone's using the AskCA hashtag. Nope, they haven't. That's the one thing. For anyone who uses that, you will get a shout out for your Twitter on this channel. I'm just saying. I'm willing to get anything to at least get that hashtag started up. Oh, we got Code Cat. I just showed up. My Little Pony. What's going on? Oh, nothing. We're being total geeks here, honestly. That and Christian Man has just professed that he's a full-on bronester. He's a brony, and that he's been collecting. Yeah, he's been collecting, the little ponies. This room's full of it. His dad's been telling him to get them out, but he's like,
"You
no,
liar!
No, hey, shh! I'm speaking for you. Let me handle this.
Let Daddy talk."
Dear Lord. Anyways, I got a work with me live chat. Alexia saying, "Oh, no one likes the intro. Those who say so are liars." I can believe that. I can believe that. Also saying season 4 finale. Actually, I guess that was a conversation that was going with when you were talking, Pin, or something. Okay, let me see if okay, we got another question from Lance Plays League of Legends. Like I said, I can't sometimes see them, so that's why if I haven't seen it and I've gone past you, be sure to like repost it. I might be able to get to you. Let's see here. What is the reason that ultimately convinced you to become a theist? Well, technically, I was already a theist during my during being a child. It was those kinds of situations. You grow up in the Bible Belt. You kind of get told about what these things are, and you kind of just grow into it culturally as a result. So, I just went with what the culture was telling me. I didn't even have much of a real good biblical worldview in mind, actually, because some of the stuff I was holding on to, some of it would definitely be, at least later times, would be a little too much interesting liberal points, to the point I would actually just come up with some stuff. Back then, I was like too conservative. I would have been on right wing watch if they could have done something about a middle schooler. That kind of idea. So yeah, it was just like a whole lot of interesting stuff. But either way, I was still a theist, and I became fully convinced as a Christian. What I could say was my born again experience of being converted and saved was at the time of the year 2013. I forgot how old I was exactly, because I know around that time was starting to be around my birthday. So I can remember exactly how old I was specifically in that time. I think maybe 19 years old. I'm 23 now. So yeah, it's been that long. And yeah, but theist-wise, I've been a theist for quite some time. I don't recall having to have been an atheist besides being an infant that just pooped his diapers, and apparently, from what I've heard of stories, peed on my pops when trying to change my diaper. Yeah, so that's ultimately, there's really not much I can answer on that, because I've always been a theist, I guess, in terms of when I start trying to think. All right. So that being said, all right. So thanks y'all for the questions. We had some good ones there. And let me see. Check back here. Christian Man's in the room. Actually, let me check the Hangouts. Has anyone been? And I get Ozpin sent me something that I think he wanted to show you, Mr. Pin. I say that stuttering because I'm not looking at the screen of the Hangout right now. I'm looking.
You don't know my name by memory?
I
I'm
have
insulted.
brain farts at times, man.
Who are you?
Potatoes. That's who. No.
Mr. Potato Head?
No, I'm the world's largest orange. I am the Donald J. Trump, and I support the rights of all bounties.
And believe me, I know bounties. They're great.
They're great.
The greatest bounties.
They're the greatest
Great
bounties.
on both sides.
Wait, who are you? You're fired.
You're fired.
No, you're fired.
No, you're fired.
You're fired. Oh.
You can't fire me. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest ever was.
No, I can't fire you. Now build that wall.
The mass shootings, they're miracles.
Here's the one
by water.
Here's the one by Ozpin. He apparently said wanted you to see this.
Why is Luna in Mass Effect 3?
Why are any of these things going to different worlds? I mean, it's the questions that we really just can't really question as much, can we?
Well, why wouldn't they? I mean, come on. I mean, I like the picture. Picture's awesome. I just don't understand Mass Effect 3, probably because I've never played it, but whatever.
Yeah, I haven't seen that particular game either. That being said, let me try to find something. What? Oh yeah, we had a sister in here. What's up, sis?
No, I found my Little Pony's temporary tattoos. Yeah.
You're a grown man, and you use temporary tattoos.
Hi.
Well, I'm gonna get a My Little Pony tattoo eventually. Just when I get the money for it. I'm broke.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm going through the same phase. The broke phase, not the My Little Pony phase. That being said, Christian man, it's your turn on the mic.
Favorite dessert?
Eric dessert. I got lost there as eat.
Your favorite dessert?
What's my favorite dessert? Seriously? The
Angel food cake.
no, it's 2 words. Cheese cake.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm a classy guy when it comes to
My nipples
desserts.
hard.
Oh, for goodness sake!
I could go for some cheesecake. I love cheesecake.
Oh yeah, there's actually a place I tried at in New Orleans when I went down there for a concert that I went to, and there's a place down there, at least, and I think that's actually its capital too, where they like started off Copeland's. It is amazing. If you ever go down there, or if there's a place that you happen to be nearby and they have a Copeland's, go to it. They've got some nice stuff, fancy restaurant. And there was a time the cheesecake is definitely good, but I think at one point, at the time I was there, they were doing a cheesecake samplers. Like if you don't want just a small bit of some cheesecake from their menu, or if you just want to try some stuff for a cheap price, get the cheesecake samplers, which is just cheesecake in a cup, and they put whatever the stuff comes with, like the little drizzled syrup, some of the frosting, the whipped cream kind of thing. They do all that to, present a sample or a taste, or if you just want to get like a spoonful of cheesecake and just go to town.
Now, when you say spoonful,
I mean a spoonful. Big.
I assume you mean like a really big spoonful, even big enough for my fat ass mother to eat with.
Well, I don't know your mother, but I guess sure, yeah.
She's a big lady.
Yeah. That definitely will work.
I know the Copeland's where I live has kind of gone downhill. I don't know if the owner died or something, but the food's not as good as it used to be, at least here. I don't know how it would be in New Orleans.
Nolans.
See,
I'm a pastry guy. On any day, you can see me eat my dessert like a bear claw or turnover, some donuts, something like that. I like cookies. Oh, I love cookies. But give me wave cheesecake in front of my face, I'll jump your bones.
Just don't kill me.
You don't know what jump your bones mean, do you, Christian?
No, you're not going to explain it on this show. Next!
It means have sex with you.
Ah! But I think I've established that this show has not been a PG show. That being
It will
said,
never be PG.
no, it will not. If anyone is
Bring
bringing
them
their kids to
back.
this, I question them sometimes.
Bring the dancing roaches back. No PG for you. Not well on that.
Bring the dancing roaches.
I guess you're not getting monetized.
I haven't had any roaches around the house lately. That's the fun
No,
part.
the dancing roaches.
No, he means oh my god, the
That was like
ad blocker, super ad blocker.
Oh yeah, ad blocker.
Yeah.
I haven't had him or messaged him or heard from him in a long time. I don't even know if he's still like doing anything these days.
Those roaches were the only thing on the show to ever have any personality. Oh, damn.
I'm sorry. What? What's this? Oh, what's this? This is a little kick button.
Throwing shade.
Really like to play. You like to gamble there, huh?
Gambling can be fun if
Yes,
you do
it
it with other people's money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That
Which
being
is the only way to
said,
gamble.
we're gonna move on because apparently someone said, CodeCat said cheesecake is one word. I'm sorry, CodeCat. I'm American. I'm not supposed to know my English well. That being said,
True.
let's move on to
Spoken like a true American.
Monak, true American. Vote Trump. That being said, let's go to Sister Hipster.
Derbs.
So now that we're done insulting my southern peoples, let's because I can do that because I'm from the south as well. So that being said, Sister Hipster,
from the south. You remember that? They're from Alabama.
we're gonna move on. Sister Hipster's here. So how you doing, sis?
You got a question for your big daddy? I mean, Christian.
I'm going to really boot you for that.
I hate you.
It was a slip of the tongue.
Uh-huh.
I know I shouldn't be asking this question, but it was a random one that I recently did, the graphic design piece. But Pin, shut up. Okay.
What? I'm not saying.
Who's your waifu?
What?
My
Oh,
waifu?
no, I think she's asking that of me.
Oh.
Who's my waifu? When you say waifu, do you mean someone from an anime or someone
Yes.
from the real world? Okay, you have to
Well,
make
the
that.
real question is, who is your waifu, and why is it Christian man?
That assumed an answer, didn't it? For your second question, I'll just answer because he's the only one that understands me. That being said, but no, in all seriousness, going to the first one. If I really don't like doing the whole waifu thing. I mean, I just like, just watch for the story. But if I were to like narrow myself down to a particular waifu, who would I choose? That's the question, wouldn't it? You could see how much this means that I haven't really put much thought into this.
He's delaying because he wants us to think that he's never put any thought into this.
There you go. I don't know, honestly. I mean, I'm trying to think of like what are some of the animes I have seen recently. The only one I've really seen would be My Hero Academia, and of course, that being said, what I've gone for, people would probably think, oh, Mountain Lady or that one chick that was being the ref for the thing. No, probably wouldn't go with both of those. Way too licentious for my tastes. So if I had to pick a guess for a character, that would have been a waifu. Going from that show, I guess, because I think that honestly would be probably where I would get the choice. It would be, at least at the moment, Momo from My Hero Academia. That would probably be about, because she's a very intelligent leadership type of person from what I've seen. And I don't know, just the personality of hers I liked during the show, and that's about it. There was really nothing more to branch out on that.
Okay.
Plus, she's a little mature. Whenever the pervs try to go after her, she like knocks them down. So I'm like, yes, that's the kind of woman I want. I don't have to do the defense for her. She can defend for herself. That's a good thing. She's strong enough to do so.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad Miranda can defend herself. Not because I don't want to, it's because I can't.
Yeah.
Burn.
Be sure humble about it.
Like somebody mugs us, I'll put her in front of me and say, "Don't hurt me."
Ah, great.
You know, I don't like anime much, but I do have a waifu.
Yeah, Ozpin is saying apparently he ships me and sister.
Well,
Oh, God.
Right. It's gonna
I have nothing to do with my life, people. I have no
whoever
life
can
outside.
whoever can draw, start drawing the fan art.
No. No.
Start drawing the fan art.
I can't take this. I have no friends. I have no girlfriends. Nobody's interested in the same stuff I am interested in. I'm a strange person.
All right, we're interested in some of the same stuff. We both like Vic Mignogna. Dang it, I'm making it worse.
No,
Actually,
opposite.
from experience, when you have a shit ton of things in common with your significant other, the relationship's probably not going to last very long.
Didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's because then you guys get tired of each other, you know? Me and Miranda, we have some things in common. We have things that we don't have in common. And about 80% of the time, we're not even spending time with each other. But that 20% of the time is in the bed, baby. Yeah.
There's no relationship. You don't get to know each other.
No, we do plenty of stuff together. It's just we like to do stuff apart too, because why would I want to do anything with her?
Yeah. All right, so thank you for your question there, sis. It got us to that whole issue about the waifu and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I don't like anime much.
Wait,
but
what? No. Oz wasn't talking about me and sister.
What?
He was talking about me and Penn.
No.
Thank you.
I forbid
My
this ship.
eyes, they're burning now.
I forbid this ship. In fact, if I have to, I will get Donald Trump impersonation to do it.
images in my head, and all of them make my brain hurt.
See, look what you did.
That's like
Look what you
Bakugo
did,
in
Oz. Look what you did.
space.
Down, boy.
It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Anyways, that being said, so let's see. Thank you for your question there, sis. We're gonna try to see what we can get. Yeah, if y'all got any questions, feel. I forgot to get the sign out. Let me get that real quickly. Because I said I was gonna try to start doing that, but apparently I had forgotten. All right, so that being said, if y'all want to submit a question, y'all have the option to message me on Google Hangouts, use the live chat on YouTube, tweet your question on Twitter with the hashtag AskCA, and ask a question on the Discord server, because we are getting one right now, actually that we're going to get to from Discord. So you want to get to your questions, these are your 4 different ways that you're able to do it from the various ways, and even get people that are not on YouTube or have access to YouTube, but apparently they have access to Twitter and all these other things. They can get it on there. That being said, let's pop into Berserk Blitz, also known as the Keyblade Xemnas. He says, what do you edit with? It literally takes a month for me to upload. I use Windows Movie Maker to edit my videos besides my Hangouts, and it's really easy. It's of course depends on how you're going about it. Like I can, if I wanted to mix audio with music, like for example, take my voice on something, I just do like dry takes where it's the video with the voice for my character. I'll save that, then put it onto there, and then I'm adding the music where it needs to be to bring it out a little more lively if needs be. So that's one of the things. But I use mostly just simply Windows Movie Maker as my editing software for some of my films or my movies, and it's been quite some time since I've actually done something like that. Like, in fact, let me see if I can actually go back to when was the last time I actually made a video where it involved me having to cut in and out and make some stuff with Windows. Let's see here. At least that's original, anyways. It was about a month ago, and that didn't take long because just to show you, there's even another one that came before it. So like the one I posted, it's been a month, is August 25th, 2017, and the one before that was like 3 days before. I mean, it's really not that hard to make and to go over the stuff. You just have to have dedication and time to it. That's the most part is. So, anyways, thank you for your question there.
Yeah.
And then I see this in the share with the world, My Little Pony cups.
That is
And all your Cinemark theaters, go get them now before they run out, because they're going to run out.
Cinemark?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. You want to have some money there going towards some stuff.
I'm gonna take it to work.
Yep. Be more interesting for Cinemark to do is just get like some little stove tops in the place and give people some Jiffy Pop. Now those Jiffy Pop popcorn.
Oh, ew, no, what? Ew. Oh,
Yes,
God,
yes.
no.
Oh, yes.
Popcorn is disgusting.
Are you?
It is the
You are
worst
lucky.
stuff.
Lucky.
It's some of the worst stuff on the planet. Miranda used to work at a movie theater. She'd come home smelling like popcorn, wanted to get freaky. I said, bitch, you better take a shower first.
That's probably why you got sick of it, because she kept working then coming home with that.
I always hated popcorn. I hate it. The taste of it is disgusting. The feel of it on your hands is gross. It gets stuck up in the roof of your mouth, and yeah.
Oh, then it just proves it's not for you.
I'm a Southern person, and I don't like sweet tea. And at work, we sell sweet tea.
That's like the conundrum right there.
Yeah.
Yes, gotta sell that sweet tea.
Could be worse. Miranda likes spinach.
We used to sell sweet and unsweet green tea, but they discontinued that. I was like, oh, sad face. I always got unsweet green tea when I left work.
You just like regular tea?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so bitter.
I like my stuff strong.
I like my stuff strong too, but strong with sugar.
Mm-hmm.
I like so much sugar that it looks like I'm on crack.
Here's the thing.
I can't stand it, the taste. I just don't know why. I just can't stand it, and some of it has to do with my dad almost dying from diabetes. So that's probably one of the reasons.
I actually been cutting back on sugar a lot lately, partially because I just can't stomach it anymore, and partially because I learned that just how unhealthy sugar is compared to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a health nut at all, but maybe I'd like to stay around for at least another month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there's actually, like, for example, I found an interesting energy drink, or energy formula, I guess is more the accurate term for it, that I think you might be interested in. I've tried it before, and it's actually worked, and that's why I had to order like 6 more packs of it. And it is called G Fuel. You ever heard of it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. They sponsor the Call of Duty tournaments.
Exactly. And my goodness, that stuff is amazing. Oh yeah. Like here's the thing.
Gatorade?
Huh?
Better than regular Gatorade?
It's not even like Gatorade. It's like it's supposed to be like the alternative to Red Bull, Monster, energy drinks. Not
I hate energy drinks.
But that's the thing. This is the healthier alternative. It's not like the carbonation type that you normally get with the energy drinks. It's basically you take some powder, mix it with some water in a shaker, and you get this very sweet. That's why because you mentioned like strong but with sweet, it definitely packs that. Almost thought I was drinking candy at that point, but it still had this refreshing taste to it because it's with the cold water, and it gives you this energy that is super strong, that you are so focused and calm, but at the same time you're able to run around the place like you're on crack. So it's sort of like a Schrodinger's cat, or like a contradiction, that you're so calm and peaceful that you're hyperactive, moving around, and energy kind of thing is not going to phase you mentally. It's that good, and it did wonders for me, because the first day I took it, it was a stressful day at work. It was a Monday, and I felt great.
Yeah,
And
I just use Percocet for that.
yeah, but the best part is that it's also
I might have a problem.
no sugar, 25 calories per serving, gluten-free, and for this particular flavor I had, which is the orange, this is an energy drink without caffeine if you get the orange flavor, and it still has the same benefits and works. And recently, they just added a new flavor to their tub mix, which is peach iced tea. And yep. So
Yeah, see, I never liked energy drinks, so if it's better than energy drinks, I'll try it. And I don't drink coffee anymore. See, just tea does all of that stuff for me and more. So I just drink tea now. I don't even drink soda anymore.
yeah, I would recommend that for anyone who's looking to get some energy that's at least healthy for them, in my opinion, because it's definitely very good. Also, welcoming after a good hiatus, after a long time, we haven't seen each other really since the coffee and tea show. It is the wonderful, glorious co-host, Mr. Oz Kane.
I prefer Mr. I've been talking for 3 minutes and didn't know that my mic was muted.
Dumbass.
Okay, then.
There you go. All right. Well, good to have you back, man. Been a while.
Hello.
Hello. And apparently we got some guy in the live chat repeating Rick and Morty lines. Oh, and then there's EO. All right. So that being said,
Peter.
that being said, since we got Osman, Oz, do you want to ask? Why am I going Russian? I don't know. What do you want to ask question?
Well, now is a good time to go Russian, given the state of affairs.
Affair.
I as long as it's not a concert.
Oh, that's my city you're talking about. Relax.
I'll be back in just a minute.
Alrighty then. Well, while you do that, shout out to EO and Pokey Dude. Honestly, don't know who that is. I'm gonna.
Oh, that reminds me.
That is your daddy.
Nah. What? It looks like a little kid.
Isn't me?
Nah, I'm like, it's like. It almost reminds me like that kid from that meme was like, you should have be careful of your consequences or something like that. But yeah, it's just some random stuff. So I don't know. Cool guy. Apparently the guy's from England too.
By crikey.
I thought that's Australian.
It's something with an accent. Give it to me, man.
Good day, mate.
There you go. Apparently he's saying that was actually somebody else. But yeah, okay. So I don't know who the dude is then. That being said,
Talking about the live chat.
yeah, I'm in the live chat, man. I have to juggle between different things: the Discord, the live chat, Hangouts, and tweet.
Yeah, that's why when I'm doing my show tonight, I'm just gonna leave it at live chat.
Yeah. That's the thing. You haven't focused up the fan base within different parts of social media. And
Don't
there is
forget
a-
your dear sweet CA when you do your show today.
Nah.
Nah, I'll be heading to bed as soon as I'm done with this. Or I'll give it like about 30, 45 minutes to do the after show for some of the fans out there. For the
You'll be
Discord
going
after.
to bed dreaming about me.
Nah, I'll be going to bed, just
dreaming
sleeping,
about me,
being scared of that clown from It.
dreaming
Then
about me.
I'll wake up and be driving over to my grandma's.
Okay, so I went to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I almost went over my seat. The people behind me moved.
You
Is
almost
it that
what?
scary?
No, I just there's this one part where there's like these dolls.
Oh,
CA knows the scene I'm talking about.
yes, I do.
That is my one thing. I cannot stand those little porcelain motherfuckers.
Yep.
See, I want to go see it, even though I'm not a big Stephen King fan. I like some of his movies, but otherwise, I'm not a big fan. And I want to
This-
go see it, but I don't get scared of anything, dude.
Let me put it like this. The book is a lot more messed up than what
That's
you
not
saw in
fun.
1990.
And this gets, I've been told
never
this gets
seen
a lot closer to that factor.
Yeah, the book is more close with the new one, but even then, the new one doesn't get some of those scenes that would definitely, like for example, I heard there were 3 scenes that had to been removed from the script of the new one. One of them was a raping scene of the dad and the daughter, and
That's in there though.
Sexy.
no, like they were supposed to actually show it in detail,
Oh, okay. See, I understand what you're saying.
like long length.
Yeah,
Though
no, I got you.
though there is kind of like a brief mention where he tries to do that, but
That's probably what's left of that scene.
yes, exactly.
Um,
But then you have another scene where, if I'm trying to remember if I'm able to say it in a way that's not too vulgar. Oh yeah, one of the bullies commits bestiality with a sheep.
Sexy.
Ew.
Yeah, there was a lot of messed up things.
he goes Scottish up in here.
Yeah, apparently they went Scottish.
And that's the
I
real
mean,
origin.
have you seen the bullies that was in there? They almost look. They went from the greasers in the 1990 version to looking just like rednecks.
Well, what else would they be?
Yeah. Well, that's the timeline that's different. Is that the 1990 version gets more close in the timeline, but because it's the new It movies being made within the new time period, they had to shorten the time for the past. So they had to take it from the 60s to going towards up to like the 80s. So the only thing you'd really have for that time period would be at least like grungy looking rednecks, I guess.
So when you're talking about the stuff in the movie, you're talking about like real shock value stuff that make people go, "What the fuck?"
Just, like really weird stuff. Like in the book, to beat it, apparently I've been told. I haven't actually read this. I've been told that they all have to sleep with the girl.
No, that's not what happened. And again, we're definitely taking it from a different topic of conversation, but still, this would be something to discuss. What happened was that after they defeat it, as kids, mind you, is they're trying to get out of the tunnels, but in the sewers, but the tunnels are taking them in circles. They're slowly starting to tear each other apart, like they're being driven apart mentally.
They're getting upsetty in the spaghetti.
They're upset. They're upset at their friends and such. So the girl proposes a way to bring their friendship to a close bond, and her only solution is, why don't all you guys, since I'm the only girl in the group apparently, why don't you all have your way with me? That's apparently in the book. Don't mind you.
That's a winning girl.
She thinks is the only solution to bring them together as friends.
Hear that, Christian? Take notes.
Dear Lord. Anyways, that being said,
sounds like the stuff I write.
that's only one of the disturbing things. I mean, you have kids having sex in there, but the deaths are a lot more gruesome in the book. Like one of the kids gets all of his blood sucked out by a bunch of flying leeches, which is the form that it happened to take form of at that particular time. So I would recommend going to see the movie if you want to at least feel a little creeped out, because there were some times me and my stepmom.
It's going to excite me.
Huh?
It's going to excite me.
It'll probably do either or. I don't know.
No, I write stuff like this in short stories all the time. To this day, one of my friends from 6 years ago still can't hear the song "This Little Light of Mine" because of a story I wrote.
I wrote a story about, called "You Are My Sunshine," and that won't listen to that song anymore.
Oh yeah, I'm a sadistic dude when it comes to short stories. I don't know why.
There you go. That being said, Mr. Kane, do you have a question?
No, you don't have one. Shh.
Well, I've been informed I don't have one, so.
There you
I
go.
am the voice that tells all.
There you go. You're the Calvinist god. That being said, Penn, not Penn, Kane. I saw Oz.
You're trying so hard. You'll get there eventually.
Yes.
Let me think for a minute. I'll talk to somebody else.
Okay, then I'll cut to Hunter since he just got in here. Hunter, you there?
Yeah.
How you doing, bro?
What's up, bro?
Not much, man.
I got a question for you.
All right, lay it on me.
When's the next time you're going to evangelize?
I don't know, man. It's I need to first figure out where to go with that. I mean, I figure we could try doing another thing again.
Yep.
So
Well,
we'll see if we can work something out.
That doesn't answer my question. You just told me, like, I don't know, but I need an answer.
Well, I mean, for one, we got to call the place to see if it's okay to be on that property.
Have you done that?
Well, I'm trying to look for other alternatives, such as different college campuses. I mean, we already tried going to Walmart, and apparently they're booked for the rest of this year due to.
Where are you going trying to bother people now, CA?
Well, we're not trying to bother people. We're just going to be standing at places, and if people want to come get bothered, they can come to us. It's their own.
If they want to come get bothered. If we're not bothering.
At least we're not knocking on doors.
We're not bothering them. They're coming and bothering us, and we just pay them back for their time.
Did you just get back from a concert with your death metal band? Because that's one awesome trick you're doing.
This?
Yeah.
Oh no, I've always been able to do this. Oh, wow. Yeah.
There you go.
No, it's I play
Okay,
drums.
Mikey.
I play drums. I've been playing for 10 years. I thought you knew that.
I knew that. It's like, what, like, do you just have it at the moment, or did you just get done playing drums?
No, I always do this whenever I'm gonna hang out. Like, it's just something.
That's probably why I didn't notice then.
My own personal fidget spinner, except.
I do the same thing with playing cards, but then again, I'm a magician, so.
I'm a drummer, so.
I'm really good at making sausage disappear. You should watch that sometime.
Okay.
That took Hunter a while to get that.
I got it. I got it right at the get-go. It's just,
I'd say so his sister, but only CA really knows that.
Naughty.
Okay, crossing the line there.
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
That was actually creepy.
Okay. Yeah. Uh-oh. Better watch yourself, Oz.
That's you, Penn. That's you. We all know in the horror movies the guy who's the more awful teenager.
You had it, and then you lost it.
The funny guy dies.
Oh, I know I'm gonna die first. If like there's zombies or something, I'm just like, yep.
Oh, dude.
Well,
No, the plot twist is I am the Jigsaw, so. I want to play a game.
I'm Godzilla.
But yeah, I will get in contact with you probably sometime if I can tomorrow, and we'll go over the evangelism thing. I just got to get some stuff done tomorrow. I gotta pay a bill. Drive over to get to my grandma to go see her, drop off some stuff for her, and then head to work. So I may, during my off time at work, call you.
I got you. Sounds good.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I actually got a question now.
All right. What's your question?
This is something you said earlier, like because you said you something to the effect of. I'm gonna close that. You think that like a deity needs to be there for evolution to happen?
At least I think so, based upon my observance of evolution from my perspective and understanding of it. Yes.
Well, that would be my question. Like, what understanding is there that you think that we start like the idea collapses if we don't have some sort of thing doing it?
Well, the issue is not necessarily just about evolution itself. Like the evolutionary argument against naturalism is that the focusing on evolutionary, and that's why I made the distinctions at times, hoping that if I was clear enough with it, is naturalistic evolution, or in other words, that it's evolution that focuses on principles of simply being based upon naturalistic principles. In other words, like just everything's going natural. There is no causality from any what say watchmaker or something like that. There's no
the current understanding of evolution. I got it.
Right. So that being in mind, with the naturalistic perspective, I don't think itself can accurately account for things if going with the naturalistic worldview, such as that, if one of the things is that included in the things that have evolved as or to be put in for survival, that's the whole thing, survival kind of aspect would not just be like physical traits, but also mental traits, like the belief such as to survive in, say, Muslim countries, or say early Christian type of civilizations or early Catholic civilizations. Things such as religious beliefs would be invented to or be produced by the cause of evolution in the brain for the sake of the survival of this particular species or individual.
Well, that's actually not where we think things like that come from. It's based on where we're from, like pre-human. I'm gonna say, I forget the actual name of the species that lived there. We were on a prairie. It was really tall grass, and we became a species that reacted really violently towards like small suspicions, because if there's 5 humans just in the little clearing under the tree, and a bush moves, and 4 of them run up the tree, and there's a tiger, only the 4 that are concerned about that and always jump up the tree when the bush moves are going to have kids. So we evolved to always recognize patterns and react as though a thing is there. Because if it's not, we're fine. If it is, and you don't, you're dead.
Right. I mean, it's just from what I've looked into that there are actually some people that do affirm this kind of idea that, things like the brain has evolved, which then also brings about certain beliefs that come about this, such as Daniel Dennett in his book Breaking the Spell says that the mind is the brain, or more specifically a system or organization within the brain that has evolved in much the way that our immune system or respiratory system or digestive system has evolved. Like many other natural wonders, the human mind is something of a bag of tricks cobbled together over the eons by the foresightless process of evolution by natural selection. I've not just heard it from this book, I've heard in some of his lectures, the whole thing about talking about that the mind is like a bag of tricks. And that it's definitely a complicated thing. And one of the things it goes about is definitely that it is evolving over the eons by, the process of evolution by natural selection. And so if that's the case, then that would also include things like the ideas of, with us being a product of the evolutionary naturalistic, the naturalistic evolutionary process, that even things like beliefs are then programmed or evolving and adapting to survive in certain situations.
Well, yes, but that doesn't mean that those beliefs are correct.
Right.
That doesn't mean anything about the beliefs aside from that we happen to do this. Just like that fish have gills doesn't really mean anything other than that they evolved to have gills, rather than absorb oxygen through the skin like some species do.
Right. My only contention is that I don't think that that this can be a consistent understanding, though. Then affirming that if, say, like the idea of simply a naturalist understanding is true, because I think then you could just be self-defeating, because then fall into something like, I believe naturalism is true. Why is that? Or we go to saying, like, I am a product of this naturalistic evolution alone, of which then one of the points is going, well, my beliefs and such are kind of programmed, or in a way like evolved to help me survive, including the beliefs that naturalism is true, and then you go on and on and on with the circle at that point, to try to justify beliefs.
First of all, genetics and evolution do not define what you're going to believe. It can predispose you to certain things. Like there are no genetics that are going to say you're going to develop, let's say, dementia. It just predisposes you towards it, as an example. So there is no genetic marker of you're going to be, let's say, a Christian. And second of all, is a lot of these things are not beliefs as a lot of people define them. It's just accepting here's kind of where it points. Would that help with that? Because I don't see like the self-defeater, but like, would that help where you see it?
Could you repeat that again?
Crap. A lot of people define beliefs as in oh, I don't believe you when you say X, differently from, well, it appears that this is the case, so this is probably the case. So they're not the same kind of belief. Does that help that? Because I don't see the defeater that I guess you do in it. I don't see how it defeats itself. You said it did, but you didn't actually explain that.
Well, I see the defeat when I said that, when going about, results of the evolution thing, including that, one of the results is including our beliefs, or just what we see as true and acknowledge as, would even include, say, the idea of the naturalistic worldview being true. That would be one of those things that would have to have been involved in what is constituted as your understanding of what you think is true, even though at the same time, according to evolution, under the circumstances of what some people like Daniel Dennett and others have noted, is that this principle of what you hold to as what you think is true, your beliefs on this particular matter, is that it would be a result of this process to survive. So it's not a simple guarantee of whether it's being true or not, but rather it could just simply be something that's instilled into you just to help you survive. Rather, it could be true, it could be not, but you can't have a guarantee just because it's simply something that is being instilled to allow you to survive.
That still doesn't make it much sense to me, because it's for instance, we have an instinct to try and settle near water because we require water to survive. So being near water, we have an instinct to be there, and it makes us more content. But that doesn't negate our need for water or the importance of water in any way. So why would, if we said that the need, some sort of, what I'm understanding, at least some sort of need for natural explanations to things.
Right. I don't think that my understanding is that I don't think that the naturalistic perspective is able to be consistent in providing the explanations for what's going on. I think if we try to apply it, then we do run into some inconsistencies or some problems, such as things like the naturalistic understanding of the worldview and the beliefs of it. is just simply being produced from the naturalistic evolutionary process to cause you to survive. It's not rather if it's true or not, it's just simply allowing you in a specific environment to help you survive.
But there's no motivating factor for that, like to help your survival. There's no threat if you don't accept these things. You're not like you don't lose anything.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that evolution kills off the weak, quote unquote, and strengthens the strong, quote unquote, is because if you're not like the faster will survive because it can outrun the thing trying to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
The stronger can the stronger can overpower it.
Mm-hmm.
Beliefs don't have that same effect because
well, they kind of do in a psychological way. You're part of this group of early people who live in a plains that gets a regular amount of rain, and over the course of several months or maybe even a couple of years, rain doesn't get to come. And by some chance or other, you notice that there's this thing that you did that caused rain to come. If you do it again, maybe there's something up there that wants you to do it, and the rain will come.
Well, what he's saying is
there's some Native Americans that have like rain dances and stuff.
Yeah.
And
what he's saying though, from my understanding, is that naturalistic evolution doesn't explain like why we would accept that.
Well, it's not that it doesn't explain it. I just simply it can explain it, but I don't think it can explain it consistently, without running into some slippery slopes. That's just what my take is.
Natural selection as explaining anything that happens in natural selection consistently. I mean, different creatures developed eyes, for example, for various reasons. It's never consistent. That's why there's so many different types of eyes within the evolutionary chain, and different types of eyes that are around today. They all serve different functions. Mm-hmm. So it's impossible to be consistent.
Right, but I think one of the consistent things I've seen in that is the idea of the convergence evolution that's been studied by people such as Professor Simon Conway Morris up in Cambridge University. That from at least he has this thing that shows these different patterns that the eyes is similar in like camera eyes and such. The eyes, but there's also different eyes that are from and that had their own different purpose and function. But one of the conclusions I see that he proposes, at least not in the scientific community, but just based on what he has observed, is that there seems to be this pattern out of all this that leads from these uses of, say, something like the camera lens type of eye that we share, like with octopuses, for example. And that ultimately it goes to this pattern of a guided sort of evolutionary process as to why we have specifically they're getting these specific functions, these specific body parts, such as the camera lens eye, in the specific environment that they are in at that time that they've come about.
Okay, and because I'm just trying to understand this. So like, is your contention then that the explanations for why we evolve things are not consistent? Is that the inconsistency?
Well, I think that's just in my opinion in general about the evolution thing. But I think the main thing of what I was just arguing was just simply about beliefs and the worldview itself in regards to, say, what it says about beliefs and such being part of this evolving within the brain that has gone on through the years of evolution, according to evolution by natural selection.
Well, it's the same thing with like what I said with the eye, though. I mean, you can't just excuse one part of all of evolution as being inconsistent when any part that evolves on anybody is inconsistent. The beliefs would evolve for probably various reasons among various cultures, as is evident through the different cultures around the world that had no communication with each other. It's the same thing with it's the exact same thing with the eye. It's going to be inconsistent, and there's no real explanation for why the first eye appeared. It's the same thing with the first theology, the worship the sun or worship the clouds when they came or whatever. There's not going to be a sufficient answer, and it's always going to be inconsistent. All that we can do is demonstrate that it did happen and make predictions based on what we know.
Yeah, because a big thing with it is it doesn't address, I'm going to say, like, metaphysical things. It does not, like, evolution does not and will not ever address anything aside from the physical evolution of things. We can kind of suppose, well, if that, then this, to try and figure out how things work together to do things, but that is a different field.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that we evolved naturally is not related to beliefs in any way, in the sense that, like, it doesn't actually talk about it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Hang on.
Well, I want to try to, at least, for now, just try to end the thing there, end the conversation.
Yeah, I figured we'd need to here in a minute.
Yeah, because we got like what's it?
I'm about to have to leave, so it's fun.
We got like 25 minutes.
10 minutes, so I can get my show started.
Yeah,
we got like 25 more minutes left before we have to shut it off for the night and get the after party going on Discord. So thank you for your question and definitely the discussion there, Oz. Definitely good to have a thought-provoking conversation with an old chap.
Yeah, you know me. I always show up with the annoying questions.
Yes. I think I know what would make you cringe, though.
There are a lot of things that make me cringe.
Oh, yes, including my Donald Trump impersonation.
That's actually not that bad.
Exactly.
I've heard worse.
But here's why I would make you cringe. Oz, I'm going to continue to build my wall like I said I was going to do.
I love that he's still trying to get funding for that stupid thing.
But yes, then apparently I found out Mexico can't pay for the border. They're having a ton of hurricanes. It's terrible. It's so tragic.
We have to rebuild everything anyway.
So that's why I'm going to have to rely on Oz to pay for that wall.
I'm gonna build a great wall. It's gonna be the greatest wall. It's gonna be better than China's wall.
I know like 15 people who have walls, and they want a wall as big as mine.
Well, it's not that Mexico can't pay for it. It's just that they said no.
Yeah. There you go. All right, enough Trump for one day. He's off.
You can never have enough of me. I'm the greatest. You know I'm the greatest.
Go in. So
4 years.
4 years.
4 years is garbage.
Maybe.
Not at the rate we're going. No.
Some experts are coming out saying that some experts are saying that within the next year, maybe as early as in the next 6 months, he will either resign or be impeached.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Probably resign because he's got like no allies left in Congress.
Well,
he's got nobody left.
Like, I'm wondering how the stress is. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff he's having to deal with at this point. I'm pretty sure he's thinking in his mind. I thought this would be easy.
Worst year president ever.
I've had more stress to deal with tragedies than Barack Obama and Bush. This is tragic. If only I was a politician before.
If only somebody had told me that guns in the hands of random people would cause tragedies. I don't know.
If somebody had told me
before we get into the politics debate, before we get to the politics debate, let's
I'm just doing imitations. I'm not even gonna argue about anything. I'm just doing.
Well, let's just hope so, because who knows? Maybe like one of the gun supporters on my page is like, this guy on here, and then boom, we just lost some people.
Fuck those gun supporters. They can go fuck themselves.
Mr. Penn.
Yes.
Do you have a question? Since technically it is your turn back at the round table, and we don't have anyone else in the live chat.
No, not at the moment. I'm just enjoying myself.
All right, then, sister.
I don't have anything, but I did think that conversations really that y'all had. I don't know who it was because I was just hearing it in passing. because I was doing something else. But I'm trying to write a story, and I think I may want to discuss that a little bit more. I might have to talk to y'all about that.
Oh, trust me, I have
Outside.
if at times I think I can have a Stephen King kind of mind. I've tried giving short horror stories a shot when I was like in high school.
Mhm.
I had some interesting ideas.
I
So
love
I'll be
writing
helping
stuff
out
like
there.
that. I forget an
By the
entire
way,
time.
David B. Rockin' Music and Anime made a hashtag. I don't know if I might try to get this popular on Twitter, but make Ozpin pay for the wall is the new hashtag, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
Yes. All right, guys, I'm Donald. I need to put this on my tweets.
I'm going to.
I'm going to tweet this.
I'm going
Hashtag make Ozpin pay for the wall. It's going to be a huge wall. In fact, to show you supported and contributed to this, I'm going to have your name all over it, as well as your face.
In fact, to make it easier on him, I'm gonna build it out of Lego.
I thought he was playing a recording. I'm not gonna lie.
It's gonna be made out of Lego. It's gonna be the best Lego wall ever. In one of the Lego movies, it's gonna be a Lego movie called Lego Trump, and in there, my hair will also be removable.
Penn, you're fired. I'm the only one that's doing the Trump impersonation.
No, you're fired.
Also, we're going to hire.
God,
We're gonna hire Hunter Bailey as the security guard for this wall. We're gonna get. We're gonna get.
Come on, man. If
Christian,
you're gonna hire a
keep doing that
security
voice.
guard, it has to be Paul Blart.
No. It's gotta be Hunter. We're gonna get him jacked up on a bunch of sugar, and it's gonna be like the Flash. He's just gonna be running all over the place.
Yeah,
It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be amazing.
Donald, we cannot allow that sort of mentality to be allowed in this hangout. It is offensive.
I'm sorry, but didn't you hand me the keys to your White House?
I didn't necessarily hand you the keys. It's just another example of a rich white man taking over what a black man
Is that Obama?
Yes.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
the worst Obama impression ever. I don't give a shit.
At least I could tell.
It's better
fellow
than
Americans.
Trump.
My fellow Americans, it has
There you go.
come to my attention.
Yep.
Hey,
Husband,
Barry, your time is done. Barry, you're a hack. You're washed up. Get out of here.
I have to say this for all the Ruby fans, especially since season 4 is coming out later this month,
Season 5.
or season 5. I'm getting old.
Get numbers right.
I'm getting old.
So you got to remember the best character in that show is Weiss because that's German for white. It's all about the whites.
I agree. I agree.
Oh my gosh.
But
they're very good.
Professor Osborn is not a very bright leader. He doesn't explain his motives, and whole school got destroyed.
We don't explain our motives to plebs.
I'll agree with you.
Anyway, I gotta run.
All right, take care, bud.
Very good people on both sides of the issue when it comes to Ruby. They're very good people. They're very bad people on both sides as well.
No, the only good people are the Weiss waifus.
And there you have your waifu shipper master right there. Osmond Kane, ladies and gentlemen.
My last word. Hunter's eyes went to discs when I said that. That was hilarious. I said that. I don't know why, but he got really he looked really surprised.
Uh-oh.
Security breach.
Surprised the mic can't pick this up. All right. Well, let's see here. We got who's that Obama almost lost. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I did almost, didn't it? Jeff Feldman made note. My Obama almost went to be like Christopher Walken.
I wish I could do Christopher Walken.
I thought kind of
What you gotta do
a little
is
bit like William Shatner.
take a free-range chicken. I don't care how you get it, but what I want to see is that chicken's head cut off. No matter the cost.
It needs work.
Yes, it does. I don't know. I was trying to go with what he was
Yeah,
saying.
I like it. I can't do it.
It needs more cowbell.
More cowbell.
There you go.
All my
anyways,
best impressions are like cartoons and stuff, not actual people. So you have that upper hand on me.
yeah.
Like I can do characters, but not actual people.
Yay!
Yo, Mr. White.
Yeah.
Science, bitch.
Oh, good lord. Well,
I'm
we're trying
hoping
to.
I can sound like a little kid.
There you go.
Do I sound like a little kid?
Sounds like a little kid.
Okay,
Okay.
let's see if I can do this. Hold on. This is gonna be weird if I can do it, but my voice is scratchy, so I might not be able to. This is my hardest voice, so give me a second.
Okay.
Like, oh, I can't do it. My fucking voice is scratchy. Try one more time. Hold on, let me mute and see if I can get it.
While he's practicing there, Hunter is back after being approached by someone that looked like they just got back from a party.
Nope, I can't get it. My voice is fucked up. I've been
There you
practicing
go.
voices nonstop for 3 days.
Well, there you go.
That's why I'm coughing so much.
That's why I drink plenty of water.
I do too, but no. After a while, it hurts.
Okay, was I talking about macroevolution? No, I was just talking about like the evolutionary argument against naturalism. I mean, I guess that can be incorporated, but I mean, we're just talking about a particular argument that was brought about by Alvin Plantinga. That's pretty much all I was really talking about earlier, Mr. Keyblade Master. All right. Oh, here's the shots fired. There ain't no evidence for macroevolution. Okay, let me point this out to you. So, as a Christian, here's why I believe in macroevolution. It's simply microevolution times however many years you're getting. It's basically step by step of what you're getting within the transitions and such. So, you get this one time frame in which you're seeing what appears to be the microevolution, but then the time it takes, you're seeing, oh, then this, you see it change, then you see it change here, and it's leading to these different things where a transition can be seen. Here's actually one of the more things that I find compelling for my side, anyways. In regards to, say, the transitional fossils for, say, the modern whale that we have. Though now I got this, of course, from Dawkins. This is him not inserting anything about religion into this, but I find that this is actually interesting once you look at the patterns here on the history. Now, we're going to start with the land mammals because that's where the whole thing is said to be from. So let's go with, I'm going to present to everyone, make sure you're still watching so you get to watch through this.
Is that my mother? Oh, no, that's a hippopotamus. Never mind.
Oh, great. Yeah, I didn't mention that.
Wow.
But yeah, so right here we have a millions of years framework.
And a pin's momopotamus.
So right here we have somewhere with about around 55 million years ago. And the hippopotamus, of course, has its own branch. And whatever was we don't know what the common ancestor is here. That's what the whole point is, that they're still trying to look for those transitions. But what we do know is that somewhere around this common ancestor gave reach to what would come to be hippopotamus, and then the transitional fossils to be these next creatures. We don't know specifically which came first, but we have whatever the common ancestor was, bred forth the Indohyus. Then we have the next one bringing about the Pakicetus. So then we see where the cetus comes in for the next generations here. So taking a look at the cetus creatures here, Pakicetus, Amblocetus,
Satus.
Yeah, Satus, Amblocetus. We see then you're starting to see the pattern of this like weasel-looking kind of figure, and it's slowly developing more into like a swimming type of creature. but it still has some of its functions, such as the original land tail, but its arms are slowly detracting. And one of the things that's able to be noticeable as well is by the time we get to Cetus, whatever, potato, is that if you take a look at the skull, you see right here, let me try to zoom in a little bit. That little black area right there, that would be where, because it's being pixelated badly, that's the blowhole for the nose. That's where the breathing area is. And that would be like, where the average nostrils are. But as it's going through the process, it's slowly having that shift upward towards where the skull is, where the cranium would be. And that being mentioned, then we see that by the time they're doing that, we have the Rhodocetus is in the water, and it's developing more of an ability to breathe in the water and have like a blowhole. Then we come to Durodon, right here. Again, same expansion going about, as well as similar features are slowly being removed, like the hind legs that are being retracted, and seeing what appears to be more like a dolphin. Well, sometime later within the issue about this common ancestor, Durodon shares a common ancestor with this particular creature, the Odontocetus, otherwise known as the dolphin.
Cetus.
Whatever. And look, right here, we see that the blowhole has officially come to the top of the creature's head at that point. So it's no longer at a nose length level of where the blowhole would be. It would be right about at the top. And we can see this kind of evolutionary pattern once we look down. And we're seeing this takes from starting in the 55 million years ago. It takes about at least 15 million years during a time span. So that's what the macro is, that during the time of the changes and the mutations, we're seeing time bringing us time to make the changes to the point that we get this blowhole on the top. And then, of course, they note that the common ancestor that would bring about the Odontocetus and the Mysticetus, which is the whale, that they both share a common ancestor with whatever was there. So,
and if pictures on a computer screen isn't good enough for you, I know whatever city you are in has a natural history museum of some kind. Walk in there, take a notebook, take some notes, do some research for yourself. I'm sure it'll corroborate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, well, I'm going to get my show is getting ready to go.
All right. Will do, man.
Everybody, ignore Christian. Come to my show afterwards. Link is in the side chat for the watch.
No, my show's much more edifying.
I can't post a link. Oh, well.
There you go.
Look up MX Pin Valentine. You'll find it.
There you go. Sell out. All right. No, it's good to have you here, man.
All right. Later, all.
Later, alligator. All right. So, and he notes common creator. Yeah, I agree. That's why I said in my video earlier with the question, I don't think naturalistic evolution can accommodate. That's why I think there is a creator, and the creator is using the means of evolution to bring about these things. That's why, in my view, in my worldview, I can look at these things and say that these forms of change and transitions aren't by simple naturalistic processes, but rather that they seem to be as a result of a design that's going about. Michael Behe, an intelligent design advocate who seems to lean close towards an evolution understanding of intelligent design, would kind of be on my agreement in this case, as well as people from Biologos. Others like Simon Conway Morris, who is an evolutionist, but he's a Christian who believes that this is the result of a creator God and that he's using this to bring about evolution and such.
Mhm.
So that being said, we don't have much time left as well as much questions. So it seems I think we've run out of our exhaustive sources. So unless Penn's already trying to convince people, say, no after show, come watch me, I'm beautiful. Anyways, good old Penn. So, sister, do you happen to have another question before we try to end the night?
Nope.
Well, guess we're just gonna have to end it there, aren't we? All right. So, guys, thank you all for watching. We're gonna, since we don't got any more questions coming in, we're just gonna take this to the after show on Discord. So if y'all want to go ahead and get started and head over there, feel free to click the link in the description to head to Discord. If you haven't already joined our chat, but if you're already there or want to be there, go over to the general voice chat, join that, and you'll be able to start heading on and enjoying yourself in that particular chat. I'll be heading over there soon. I'll be there for like about 30 or 45 minutes because I'm waking up early tomorrow morning so I can make a drive over to see my grandma and visit with her before I got to go back over to my place to get to work. So that being said, you guys are wonderful human beings. I love every single one of y'all. Another shout out again to Alexia or Lexi, whatever you want to be preferred to be called, for your amazing artwork. Be sure you check her out. And if you want something drawn, Alexia the Rook, Lexi is your chick. That's who you gotta check out. Anyways, that being said, this has been the Christian Anarchist. Shalom Aleichem. Peace be upon you, because I wish that upon you. Have a good night.